The anime begins with our protagonist, Ganta, watching a video about the prison their school is taking them. Prison is a very unusual place to enjoy school trips, however, this prison is different. It's very recently built, which also operates like an amusement park, where the prisoners are the ones who entertain the visitors. Because this is so unique, both Mimi and Amakatsu are very excited. Ganta isn't very interested and wanted their school to take them abroad, but because he can see how happy his best friends are, he doesn't mind it at all. As their class is about to start, Ganta hears a very familiar music. He looks outside and freaks out on seeing someone flying. Suddenly, the person just unleashes an attack, and the next Ganta opens his eyes, everything is destroyed. His head is still fuzzy but looks around, and sees that the person is holding Mimi's head. Ganta freaks out, and as he backs off, the person approaches him and inserts something inside his chest. After this, he wakes up in the hospital, where officers enter the room and arrest him for killing all of his 29 classmates. A man named Tamaki offers his service to Ganta as his lawyer. Ganta is in a state of confusion. He tries to tell them it's the red man who used some supernatural powers, but no one believes him. Remembering the red man shot him with something, he shows his chest to them, however, there is nothing. Tamaki assures Ganta he will be freed from this accusation in no time. However, at the court, Ganta is found guilty and sentenced to death. He doesn't know why all this is happening to him. He freaks out and breaks free to run away, but the parents of the victims start beating him. Among them is Mimi's father also. There is a video of Ganta circulating in the news, where he is clearly admitting his crimes, and the reason he did the killings was only because he wanted some entertainment. Ganta begs Tamaki to do something because he never said those things. But Tamaki refuses to help, saying he never thought someone would be secretly recording them. No matter how much Ganta pleads, his death sentence doesn't change, and he is taken to the only privately owned prison, Deadman Wonderland, which is also considered as the worst prison. Makina, the warden, briefs the new criminals on how this prison operates differently from the government prison, and how their sole purpose is to make money from the shows every prisoner will be used in. The bags provided to them have all the basic necessities, and the collar they are wearing is equipped with tasers, GPS, and other safety measures. After this, Makina asks them if there is any question. One of the prisoners asks her melon's size, and she just tells them, it's G-cup. Just then, someone bumps into Ganta, and quickly apologizes for his mistake. However, Makina tells him to return the thing he just stole. The boy refuses he didn't steal anything, and as a result, Makina punishes him. Seeing how brutal she is, everyone freaks out. Makina reminds them that they are worthless beings, who deserve nothing but pain for the crimes they committed. Inside a room, Tamaki and Makina have a conversation. We find out that Tamaki is planning to get rid of Ganta in the way it looks like an accident. Makina doesn't align with Tamaki on this, because Ganta will soon be executed anyway. However, Tamaki has some other motive. At the construction site, while Ganta is working, he reminisces about the time he spent with his friends. He feels so miserable that he doesn't want to live anymore. But just then, a girl named Shiro comes. She heard Ganta wants to die, so she starts attacking him. But when he dodges, she tells him that there is a part of him that still wants to live. Ganta asks Shiro how she knows this when she doesn't even know him. But Shiro says she and Ganta are best friends. Just then, other prisoners approach Ganta. They are pissed to see him hanging out with a girl and slacking off. They are furious at him for acting like a big shot just because he has done a few more killings than them. As a prisoner starts to bully him, Shiro pushes him away and says, "Do not bully Ganta." The prisoner gets angry and attacks her. Shiro kicks him, but then another prisoner knocks her out. Ganta tries to fight them, but then he gets beaten up. Tamaki is in his room watching all this. He is amazed that the person Ganta is calling Red Man is actually called Wretched Egg. And the fact Ganta is alive even after encountering him, Tamaki wonders if it's just a luck or not. As per his plan, a bomb explodes on top of Ganta, and all the debris starts to fall down. Seeing this, Ganta realizes Shiro is right and he really doesn't want to die. He wants to prove his innocence and eliminate the red man from this world. His chest starts to glow, and then a mysterious power comes from him. As the dust clears up, everyone except Ganta and Shiro are dead. She wakes up in a dizzy state and asks if it's morning. Ganta is worried for her, but Shiro says she wants to eat snacks with him because it tastes better with friends. Ganta wonders what's with this girl. Inside the facility, a prisoner is threatening to kill a staff and demanding something called candy. Makina looks at his time and instead of taking action, decides to wait. A few seconds later, the prisoner's collar beeps and he dies on the spot. This is the death sentence of the inmates here. The candy that was stolen by the boy from Ganta is actually an antidote that postpones the death sentence. In her room, Makina is looking at the footage of the construction site and notices a light coming from Ganta. She wonders if it's something related to what Tamaki was planning to do. On the other side, Tamaki doesn't plan to make a second attempt to kill Ganta. Actually, it's Ganta's powers he is more interested in. In the nurse's office, Ganta has his injury covered up. The doctor asks if he has eaten the candy he received, but Ganta is confused because he didn't receive any. The boy from earlier apologizes as it might have fallen when he bumped into him. Ganta remembers him and asks if he is alright now. The boy introduces himself as Yo, and again apologizes for causing him the problem. Just then, Shiro pops out from the vent. She wants to join a race and invites Ganta to participate with her. It's a race where the prisoners overcome obstacles to entertain the visitors. And the winning prize is 100,000 cast points. Ganta doesn't know what it is, so Yo tells him it's like the currency the prisoners use in this prison. You can use it to get food and clothes, as well as buy years off from your death sentence. Ganta doesn't think he can win the race, so he has no interest in taking part, but on hearing even the participants will receive sweet bean bread, he is ready. On his way, Makina stops him and asks where he is going. On knowing it's the race, she tells him to read the rulebook for his own benefit. In the waiting room, while reading the rulebook, Ganta notices Yo and is glad to see he is also joining the game. Yo is about to give him something, but then, another prisoner named Kazuma enters. He is a former Taekwondo champion also known as the Ultimate Warrior. On seeing him, everyone is nervous and some of them even quit the race. Kazuma, seeing Ganta looking at him, punches him. And then, he trips Yo and breaks his arm. He threatens everyone to not get ahead of him. That is the only rule of this race they have to follow. Seeing this brutality, Ganta calls him insane, however, he is loud enough for Kazuma to hear it. As Kazuma approaches him, Ganta doesn't want to be beaten up again, so he doesn't make any eye contact. But still, Kazuma kicks him. Just then, Shiro comes holding the cookies. She wants to share it with Ganta, but she accidentally steps on Kazuma. As he is about to hit her, Makina stops him and lands a cut. Kazuma panics and tells Makina he was only joking, there is nothing to be serious about. As it's time for the race, before leaving he swears to himself that one day, he will make Makina pay. After Makina leaves, Shiro offers Ganta some cookies, but upon seeing him sad, she eats it herself. Ganta reads the rule book in which it's written, every day the prisoners are fed a slow-acting poison. If they do not consume candy within 3 days, they will die. This is the death sentence of the prisoners, and the cost of one candy is 100,000. This means, if Ganta doesn't win the prize money, he will die tomorrow. On the other side, Tamaki, knowing Ganta is participating in the race, tells the operators to make sure the danger level of the obstacles is set to maximum. Soon after, the race starts. The first obstacle is dodging the swinging blades. Ganta didn't thought the blades were real, until he is hit by them, and receives a deep cut. And those prisoners who are trying to escape are being eliminated on the spot. Ganta wonders how anyone can enjoy this race, however, the audience believes there is some kind of special effect that is being used on the prisoners. Ganta comes across another obstacle where he has to jump and land at the center. If he misses, he will die. He doesn't want to, but then Shiro comes and forces him to jump together. Both of them end up safely landing. On to the next obstacle, that is to avoid the arrows. Shiro is just enjoying herself, whereas Ganta is freaking out. On the other side, Kazuma has his own way of winning the race. As they cross more obstacles, Ganta wonders when this absurdity will stop. Finally, he arrives at the final obstacle, in which Kazuma is one of the finalists. For this last obstacle, the rules are simple. Whoever holds on to the ball till the very end wins. As it begins, all three start running towards the ball. Ganta is slide tackled by Kazuma, but he is still able to get the ball. As the tiles start to fall, he runs and Kazuma goes after him. After some time, when he is cornered, Kazuma tries to play mind tricks on him. He tells Ganta there is no need for him to live this suffocating life because he can see his face is filled with regret for killing his friends. However, this doesn't work because Ganta is now pissed. He hits him with the ball and yells he didn't kill his friends. Kazuma, upon getting back up, tries to get to a safe tile. However, he isn't able to make it and ends up falling to his death. On the other side, Shiro has the ball but the tile fall off. She is able to hang on, and it's this moment that Ganta looks at her injuries and realizes all this time, Shiro was the one who was protecting him. Suddenly the tile falls off, and she starts to fall. Shiro passes the ball to him, but instead of catching it, Ganta saves her. In the end, there is no winner and as a result, no one receives the grand prize. But now that Ganta cannot buy the candy, he will die tomorrow. Somewhere in a room, Tamaki is being scolded by other investors for increasing the danger level. This is bad for the company's image because many normal prisoners died who were not even on death row. They have enough of his recklessness and decide to get rid of him by talking to the director. But Tamaki laughs and tells them he is the one in charge, not the old man who is going to die. On the other side, every prisoner including Yo is glad that they didn't enter the race, or they would have definitely died. Inside his cell, Ganta is emotional because he is soon going to die. In his last message, he is writing a letter to Mimi's father, once again telling him he didn't kill his daughter. Just then, Yo enters the cell. He gives the candy to Ganta, as an apology for the one he lost. Ganta is very grateful to Yo. We get to know Yo didn't give the candy because he regrets his actions. It's because he is working for Tamaki, who has told him to keep an eye on Ganta in return for a lot of cash points. On the other side, Tamaki receives a message that the Wretched Egg is on the loose. He goes to check the situation and finds out a lot of guards and staff have died. An error had occurred because of which the Wretched Egg was able to break free. The scene shifts. Yo treats some ice cream to Ganta to celebrate their friendship. Looking at him, he wonders if Ganta has really killed his classmates. But then, Ganta's chest starts to hurt, and then he sees the Wretched Egg standing on top. Wretched Egg uses his powers to create a tornado and takes down prisoners around it. Because of the tornado, Yo also gets hurt. Seeing this, Ganta is furious. He won't let his friends die anymore, and subconsciously uses his power. However, the Wretched Egg is unaffected. And strangely after this, he just leaves. Soon, Ganta collapses due to exhaustion. Witnessing Ganta's powers once again, Tamaki is amazed. But on the other side, Yo is freaking out and wondering who on earth Ganta really is. The scene shifts to the nurse's office, with Shiro next to him. Ganta is still in disbelief about the powers that came from him. He hears that many other people who were hurt believe it was a terrorist. But then one of them says it's a prisoner who attacked a few years ago and is currently locked away at the rumored G block. On the other side, Makina gets the news of the attack. She doesn't know if Tamaki is related to this incident, but for now, the only suspect is Ganta. She doesn't know how he fired that attack, but thinks it's a weapon he is hiding somewhere inside his body. For her, maintaining peace, law and order within the walls of this prison is the priority. She issues orders to capture Ganta immediately, and releases the robot named Necro. Following this, throughout the prison, both the employees and inmates are ordered to return to their offices and cells. On the other side, Yo requests Tamaki to let him go of this spy thing because he doesn't want to babysit a monster. Tamaki tells him in return for taking care of Ganta, he will be given enough caste points to get himself out of this prison. The scene shifts to Ganta, who is finding his way to G block, but then, the gate starts to close. Soon Yo also comes and warns Ganta about his life being in danger. Ganta tells him he wants to find the red man who killed all of his friends. And for that, he needs to go to G block. Yo finds it weird and shows him there is no block as such. However, Shiro knows a secret passage leading to it. Ganta tells her to take them there, but Shiro refuses because she is mad at him. Just then, a robot comes and points the laser at him. Ganta in a panic requests Shiro to take them there. So Shiro finally agrees and through the vent escapes from the robot. They arrive somewhere, but there too the Necro robot arrives. He comes after them and starts firing missiles. In the control room, Machina gets to know they have lost the prisoner's signal along with the robot. Machina is in shock to hear this. This only means there is a part of this prison where she doesn't have control. Back in front of the G block, Ganta apologizes to both Shiro and Yo for bringing them to the mess. As the robot approaches them, Ganta accepts his death. But then, Shiro just kicks the robot away. She calls Ganta an idiot, and asks him why he said all of his friends are dead when he has her. She admits she ate his food while he was asleep, but this doesn't mean he will not consider her his friend. Ganta realizes he was insensitive and didn't consider Shiro's feelings. Just then, the robot comes and starts scanning Shiro. Ganta is in a panic. He wants to use his power but it just doesn't come out. And then out of nowhere, multiple red whips come and take down the robot. On seeing who released this attack, Ganta realizes he is the red man he saw at his school. He gets furious and in anger attacks him. But Senji uses his power and easily counters. Senji tells Ganta that their duel is going to be tomorrow, but if he wants a warm-up match, he doesn't mind. Ganta doesn't understand what he is saying, and just charges at him with bare hands. But against Senji, they are nothing. Ganta fears he is going to be killed, but Senji approaches him and asks why he isn't using his blood powers. Ganta finally realizes, in order to use his power he needs his blood. Senji calls him a boring kid and is about to leave, when Ganta stands up and attacks him. The power he releases is unbelievably high, which makes it harder for Senji to neutralize it. He is indeed amazed by Ganta's power, but he is confused as to why he is calling him Red Man. Ganta wonders if Senji is lying, but then notices his smile is different from the Red Man. He asks Senji how he has the similar power that killed his classmates. Senji tells him they aren't the only ones who can use such powers. Inside G Block there are a lot more just like them that are referred to as Deadman. After explaining all this, Senji is now ready to fight again, but as he is about to attack, Shiro kicks him and tells him, "Do not bully Ganta." Senji freaks out on seeing a woman. He is totally blushing and gives his jacket so she can cover her bouncing melons. But just then, guards arrive and shoot 2 darts at Senji and Ganta. Shiro in anger goes after the guards. But in the end, she is caught along with Yo. Tamaki is notified about the situation and orders the guards to leave both of them outside the G block. On the way, Yo asks the guards why this block is hidden. One of the guards tells him it's because there are prisoners who have these blood manipulation powers. They are extremely dangerous and this block is to hold them in. After throwing them out, the guard takes all of Yo's cast points. On the other side, Machina is wondering where those 3 went. Even the robot is nowhere to be found. She suspects Tamaki is behind it, and decides to meet the director. Somewhere in a surgery room, Ganta is tied up. Tamaki enters the room and on seeing him, Ganta is in shock. Tamaki confesses he is the one who falsely accused him and also the one who had the video fabricated. On knowing this, Ganta is furious. He yells and swears he will never forgive him. But Tamaki just increases the pain, and tells Ganta he only wants to hear yes sir and okay sir from him. He shows Ganta that tomorrow is going to be a duel between Crow versus Woodpecker. Meaning, Senji versus him. Such duels happen every day in G Block, and the reward for winning is a candy along with 100,000 cast points. But Ganta doesn't care. All he wants is to eliminate Tamaki from the face of this earth. Hearing this, Tamaki tells Ganta If he follows his orders, he will eventually meet the Red Man. Tamaki further shares that the Red Man Ganta has been calling is the Wretched Egg, which is the source of every Deadman's power. It is also the most dangerous Deadman. After this, Ganta is forced to watch a compilation of Carnival Corpse. It's a show that telecasts the duels of Deadmen. And it's so brutal that Ganta begs Tamaki to stop it, but instead, Tamaki puts it on a loop so Ganta will watch for hours until his fight begins. On the other side, Makina arrives at the director's room but is told that the director's health is critical and no one is allowed to come. She tries to insist, but when threatened she just leaves. Somewhere outside the G block, on one side, Yo is angry because of its lost cast point. On the other side, Shiro is emotional. She is sad because no matter how much she searches, she is not able to find Ganta. She knows if she is not with him, Ganta won't be able to protect himself. Ever since they were young, he has been weak. On the other side, Senji and Ganta's match finally begins. Ganta starts running away and climbs the tree. He tries to make his powers work and fires some bullets. But Senji is able to stop them. Ganta goes for more power, but it still isn't enough. And eventually, the inexperience of Ganta becomes more evident. Ganta starts to feel cold, because he was careless and lost too much blood. As Ganta starts to lose consciousness, the viewers start to get bored. Soon, the tree falls apart, and Senji keeps throwing his attacks on Ganta. Looking at the fight, Tamaki tells the doctor that if Ganta loses, she is free to do whatever to him. He doesn't need toys that are broken. Disappointed, Senji asks Ganta if yesterday was a fluke. He was expecting more from him, but now he has to end this match. Lying on the floor, Ganta wonders if he should just quit and die right now. We go back to the past when Shiro was there with him. She was always worried for him because Ganta always got hurt easily. But one thing she knew about him was no matter what, he never gave up. Ganta gains his composure and stands up. He is indeed scared, but he won't go down without a fight. He surpasses his limit and cuts the penguin-shaped ornament. Using it as a distraction, he gets close to Senji and lands a powerful attack. On the other side, both Yo and Shiro arrive at their blocks. Just then another prisoner approaches and gives the location of a girl Yo has been looking for. Yo again goes back to G block. However, Shiro is just carelessly walking and singing. Yo tells her to shut up or they'll be found out by the guards. He shares his plan with her and asks if she can do it. Shiro assures him she will give her best. As per the plan, angry Shiro breaks into the control room and Yo takes down the guard. However, he reports that a white-hair girl is going berserk and requests for backup. Yo is grateful to Shiro because she was foolish enough to become a distraction and give him a safe way. But as the power cuts down, Shiro's personality changes. Soon after, a blast happens that annihilates everyone in the building. Around this mess, Shiro is standing at the top with a wide smile. Yo is freaking out to see Shiro's face. But then, she just collapses. The two guards from earlier come and take her away, while Yo goes to search for the girl. Inside a room, Ganta wakes up and finds the candy. He eats it, and remembers how after the match, both Senji and he had a fist bump. He wonders if they can be friends. He watches the TV, where the post-game is being telecast. Since Senji lost the game, he is going to receive a punishment. The moment Senji says stop, the slot machine lands on eyes, and soon after, with a sadistic and excited face, the doctor takes it out. After witnessing this, Ganta is lying depressed. All this time, both Shiro and Yo were with him. That's why he forgot how brutal this place really is. But then, he hears a girl's voice begging a prisoner to stay away from her. Hearing he is hungry, Ganta gives his food to him. However, even after eating literally everything, he is still hungry. Both of them run away and hide in the girl's room until the prisoner leaves. After turning on the lights, Ganta is amazed to see how beautiful her room is. The girl introduces herself as Mina. She already knows about Ganta after she saw him in the game show. She expresses how messed up this place is, which only forces them to hurt others. Mina unzips her dress and shows what her father did to her. Ever since she lost her mother in the Red Hole incident, her father became abusive and kept beating her. Her life was in danger, and she used her powers to escape from him. Her older brother didn't knew about her powers and thought someone falsely accused her. Even though did kill her father, she doesn't want this power. As she comes closer to Ganta, her dress is stuck, so she ends up revealing her melons to him. Ganta freaks out. He tells her they should escape from here and he will protect her. Mina agrees, and as they start to run away, they notice someone lying on the floor, and then, the ceiling suddenly breaks. Ganta manages to save Mina, but ends up getting hurt. The guards arrive wondering what happened, but on seeing both of them, they tell them to do this stuff tomorrow during their fight. Ganta doesn't understand it, so Mina tells him they both are going to fight tomorrow. Ganta is in shock. The following day inside the cage, as the duel is about to begin, Ganta assures Mina she doesn't have to worry because he won't attack her. But when the fight begins, Mina fires insanely fast slashes and reveals her true personality. She is amazed at how all boys fall for the same trick over and over again. Ganta realizes that yesterday, the sudden breaking of the ceiling was done by Mina. And because of the damage he took, he can't run around and dodge as freely as he did against Senji. Mina laughs and asks Ganta what he was planning to do with her after breaking out. Probably marry her and have kids. She always knew men are the easiest to fool. Devastated, Ganta asks if everything was a lie. Mina laughs on seeing how delusional he is. Ganta gets angry and attacks her. Mina blocks it, but then Yo comes from his disguise and yells at Ganta for hurting his sister. Ganta is in shock to hear it. While being carried away by the guards, Yo promises Mina he doesn't care if she is a dead man because he will buy her freedom with his caste points. The audience is giving a good response, so Tamaki orders the guards to let go of Yo. Mina never thought her brother would come to save her. She is amazed at how idiot he is. Yo is angry at Ganta because he never thought he would be someone to hit a girl. Ganta in his defense says she is the one who tricked him. Mina pretends she is not the one and says it was Ganta who tricked her. Ganta has enough and is about to attack, but then Yo comes in front and says he won't let anyone hurt his sister. Mina can't believe how stupid her brother is. She decides to use him as a shield, but then Yo asks her if that's how she killed their father. Back then, he never thought about it. But their father was never abusive. He never thought she could have done it, until he saw people with powers. He doesn't care what she is, but he swears no matter what he will protect the only family he has left. Mina drops her acting. She grabs Yo and starts beating him. She admits she is the one who killed their father, but asks, what's so wrong about it? When the Red Hole incident happened, the building collapsed and she was stuck. Their mother came running towards her, however it was only to save the flowers, not her. Everyone is a liar, who just pretends to be good only to betray you later. Because of Yo, Ganta isn't even able to counterattack. But then he uses his brain and shoots the bullet so it ricochets and hits Mina. Yo is freed, but then she grabs Ganta. While tied up, he approaches her and calls her foolish. Just because she was once betrayed, she lied and hurt everyone afterwards. Mina sees a glimpse of her past, and when she comes back to her senses, Ganta headbutts her and tells her to stop making her life more miserable. Since Mina can't fight anymore, Ganta wins the duel. The director watching this fight is impressed to see how well Ganta has grown up. He wakes up Shiro and tells her to fulfill his last wish. But before that, he tells Shiro to grab her favorite pudding from the secret shelf. However, Shiro says it is the other one who likes it, not her. The director apologizes for not recognizing it, and afterwards using his powers he fights Shiro. Back in the nurse's room, Ganta once again apologizes to Yo for hurting his sister. Yo now understands the situation and isn't mad. In fact, he believes it's his fault for not being able to be a better big brother. Suddenly, the whole building starts to collapse as a result of Shiro and director's fight. The cabinet filled with glass bottles is about to fall on Mina, but Yo goes to protect her. Seeing this, Mina sees a glimpse of her past, how when their mother left her to die, it was her older brother who saved her. After the shaking stops, Mina doesn't get hurt, but Yo gets some injuries. She is furious at him and asks why he did something so stupid. Yo smiles and says that's what big brothers are for. She comes to him and starts taking out the glass shreds. While the siblings are having a family moment, Ganta has a sudden pain in his chest. He sees a glimpse of his past when there was Shiro and his mother playing the piano. He starts to gain some memories of his past. Inside the director's room, the fight is over and Shiro has put the director to his end. And it's shockingly revealed she is the Wretched Egg. In the hallway, the damage caused is huge and many are wounded. Ganta has an encounter with Senji, who praises him for his match against Mina. Ganta apologizes for his eye, but Senji laughs and says it's not a big deal. The one thing Senji advises him is to change his fighting style because all he uses is bullets. Ganta likes his fighting style because it reminds him of a superhero named Ace Man, who he used to watch with Shiro. Just then, Yo comes out of the room in a panic. Mina is furious at him for having a sister complex. She wants to take a shower in private, but Yo is too worried about her injuries to leave her alone. After this, on the way, Ganta asks Yo where is Shiro. Yo doesn't reveal the truth and says they got separated in the G block. Remembering what terrifying scene he witnessed, Yo asks Ganta if he knows who Shiro really is. Ganta now remembers that they were childhood friends. So he shares an instance when Shiro returned from the experiments and was in a lot of pain. He cheered her up with his new Ace Man figure, but she was angry and broke it. He got sad and went outside, but there he was attacked by a dog. It was then that Shiro came to his rescue just like the Ace Man. Now remembering this, Ganta feels so bad for forgetting about such fond memories he spent with her. He wants to find her and properly apologize. Yo wants to tell Ganta about what he saw, but isn't able to. In the control room, Makina is wondering why weird things are happening. First, that weird light that came from Ganta, then he and Necro vanished, and now this earthquake, which does not seem to be natural at all, because the epicenter is the area which is supporting this prison. As the warden of this prison, she has to figure out what's happening. In Tamaki's room, he asks for an update on Ganta's red crystal. The doctor shares that it's actually a capsule called Nameless Worm that infects the users and allows them to manipulate their blood. Tamaki wants to produce more of such carriers that he can control. However, the doctor refuses because they do not have the technology to create the material used for the Nameless Worm. The only way would be by examining its source, which is the Wretched Egg. However, it's completely out of reach because of the director. It has been 5 years, and even Tamaki doesn't know who is beneath that mask. The security to hide the data on the Wretched Egg's personal data is just insane. But Tamaki is optimistic that once the director is dead, he will take over this prison and get the Wretched Egg's identity. On the other side, Ganta comes in a worry and asks Mina if she will too have to go through the punishment for losing. Mina doesn't mind it, because she has gone through it once and lost her kidney. Ganta cannot let this happen again and goes to do something. But on his way, someone suddenly attacks him. The scene shifts to Yo, who is searching for his stolen cast points. But just then, he has an encounter with Tamaki and a man named Monk. Tamaki knows what Yo has been wanting, so he tells him that those prisoners who are in G block in no condition will be freed, not even with the cast points. Yo is in shock to hear it. Knowing he won't be able to save his sister, he gets angry and attacks. But Monk uses his weapon and fires air bullets that deal heavy blows. Somewhere in a room, Ganta wakes up. The girl apologizes, but the only reason she attacked him was to test his strength. She introduces herself as Karako, the vice captain of Scar Chain. She asks him if he would like to join her gang, but Ganta refuses, because he is suspicious of them. Just then, a man named Nagi comes. He is the leader of Scar Chain, an anti-management gang whose aim is to destroy this birdcage created by the director and Tamaki. Before proceeding further, Nagi apologizes in case his voice sounds weird. He lost his ability to speak in the Carnival Corps, and since then has been using a mechanical voice. Ganta doesn't mind it at all. Nagi shares that he needs strong allies for his plan. After seeing Ganta's performance, and his hate against the authorities, He believes he is the right one to join their gang. However, Ganta apologizes, because his first priority is to save Mina from the punishment. On knowing this, Nagi decides to help so he can win Ganta's trust. In the punishment room, for the first time ever, Mina is nervous. All because of Ganta, who had her hopes high. But she knows nothing can be done, and she has to stay calm. She says stop, and then the slot machine lands on hair. The doctor is freaking out, because hair is not even an option. This happened because of Nagi, who pulled some strings. Ganta is relieved to see this. But just then, Monk enters the room with the beaten-up body of Yo. He uses his gun, and deals a huge damage. Ganta uses his powers, however, it doesn't work, and he is taken down. Monk is about to use his powers again, but just then Shiro comes to the rescue. Monk senses something strange from her. After informing everyone that today's fights are cancelled, he leaves. On the other side, Ganta is wondering why his attack didn't work. He notices Shiro eating pudding and asks her from where she got this. Because it's not the one they sell here. Shiro says whenever she wakes up, there is always one in front of her. Just then, another member named Rokuro comes. He has brought the data, which is the last key they need for their plan. Now that everyone has gathered, Nagi introduces Ganta to others. He also tells him that it's Rokuro who saved Mina from the penalty game. Ganta shows his gratitude to him. After talking for some more time with the other members, Ganta notices that despite they are supposed to be an anti-management gang, everyone seems so relaxed. Inside the changing room, Makina and her subordinate are going to gather some data. It's a private prison, so every year they have a week-long inspection to ensure the prison meets the country's safety standards. Using this chance, she wants to sneak into Tamaki's room and find out what he has been hiding from her. On the other side, Nagi tells everyone that during inspection week, everything shuts down. There won't be any shows either public or private. Tamaki wants Deadman Wonderland to look like a squeaky clean prison with nothing to hide. But that's when they will attack. This mission is their first and last gamble, a mass breakout by Deadman. Rokuro warns them about Undertakers, the anti-Deadman force working directly under Tamaki. Remembering his attack, Ganta shares how his attack was nullified by Monk. On hearing this, everyone seems uneasy. They wonder if Tamaki has come up with a new invention. But Rokuro calms them down and shows the CCTV footage where instead of nullifying the attack, Monk dodged it. Seeing this, everyone has a relief. Ganta swears he is not lying, but Rokuro tells Nagi they don't need a kid who will make excuses and only slow them down. Ganta is pissed. In the first place, he never said he would join them. He tells them he doesn't trust them because all they do is just slack off. He leaves the room in anger. In the director's room, Tamaki finally gets the news about the director's death. He could not be more happy and immediately starts making the changes to this prison. On the other side, Ganta meets up with Senji and asks him if he knows about Undertakers and their ability to nullify their powers. But Senji refuses, he doesn't know. Ganta then asks him if he knows about Nagi. Senji knows him, and shares the story he heard about him. 2 years ago, Nagi was forced to fight his wife. He lost on purpose, and as a consequence lost his voice in the penalty game. But despite having a loser, Tamaki didn't accept the result because Nagi lost on purpose. So he decided to punish Nagi's wife as well. However, when both of them decided to escape this prison, Monk killed Nagi's wife, who at that time was carrying their child. After hearing this story, Ganta goes to his room, where he finds Nagi, and apologizes to him for his rude behavior. Now he understands why Nagi wants revenge. However, Nagi says he is not doing this for revenge. He wants to bring down this prison so his friends, who were wrongfully accused of crimes, can be freed. Also, he wants to hold the child that his wife bore when she was still alive, which is in the nursing facility outside. At night, Ganta wonders why Nagi doesn't want revenge. If it was him, he would definitely want to. He asks Shiro if there is anything she wants to do. Shiro says she wants to eat a lot of snacks. She also wants to go on that big and sparkly thing. Ganta realizes she is talking about the Ferris wheel. They cannot ride it because it's only for the visitors, but he promises her that once they get out from here, they will ride it together. Shiro is very happy to hear it. On the other side, Monk is wondering about who this Shiro is. He sensed something from her, which is making him curious about her. The following day, Ganta enters the room and apologizes to everyone for his behavior. Karako tells him it's totally fine. Upon seeing Shiro, Ganta tells her to go back to the room. He reminds her about the promise they made, that while he is on the mission, she will stay in the room. Shiro doesn't want to leave Ganta but exits the room. Karako comforts her that Ganta only wants her to stay away because he loves her. Hearing this, Shiro couldn't be more happy. Seeing Shiro's reaction, Karako realizes they are not dating. Back in the room, Nagi shares the plan one more time. Their goal is to break out and run. They have to show the world how inhumane this prison is. Rokuro has created this chip which has all the evidence they need to expose this prison. They will first neutralize the G-block room and then take the freight elevator. 5 minutes before they move, they will pull the emergency alarm. All of this will be done in 2 groups. And with this, they all will gain freedom and break these chains. Soon after, the plan is put into action. Nagi uses his powers to get into the G-block control room. On the other side, the second group are on the way to the freight elevator. As they come across a bridge, they are well aware of the sensors laid on it. So a member uses its powers to make sure they don't trigger the sensors. However, their weight is too much and it ends up triggering the sensor. The Necro robot is deployed and takes down one member. Karako gives the chip to Ganta and decides to stay back to provide support. Ganta doesn't want to leave her behind, but others know they can't lose any more time. After they safely cross it, Karako uses her powers to defend herself and take down the robot. But as a result, the bridge explodes and she falls off along with the robot. Others arrive in front of the freight elevator. Ganta is worried for Karako, but others tell him he can't worry about her. He needs to fulfill the duty she has entrusted to him. On the other side, Nagi and Rokuro have eliminated all of the guards nearby. Now what's left is to enable the freight elevator. But just then a little girl enters the room. She bows down and introduces herself as Hibana. She says she has just completed her homework, and now she has to do some cleaning. Nagi wonders who this is. He tells Rokuro to call the elevator, but he starts laughing and says he won't. After all, this was his plan from the start. Hibana takes out her weapon from the bag, and once again introduces herself as the 3rd Division captain of the Undertakers. Nagi realizes he has been cornered. He uses his power against Hibana, but she nullifies and attacks him. Nagi realizes it's the same thing as Ganta said, meaning that Rokuro edited the CCTV footage. Rokuro insists Nagi to not resist and come with them. But Nagi refuses. He has to call the elevator because others are depending on him. He attacks Hibana, but once again she nullifies it and keeps on attacking. Nagi can't believe how merciless this girl is. Hibana says as a proper lady she needs to punish people who make mistakes. But when Nagi tells her, she is not a proper lady but a pathetic little girl who is rotten to the core. She gets angry and continuously attacks him. She tells Nagi she is a proper lady. Her mother always punished her whenever she didn't eat veggies, or when she wet her bed, or even when she didn't get good marks. That's why she has become a proper lady, so can too punish bad people. Nagi loses his arm, but he uses it to divert Hibana's attention and takes down Rokuro. By the time she realizes what has happened, Nagi's arms release an attack and knocks her down. With his last bit of strength, he pulls the lever. Others get in the elevator. As they are on their way up, everyone is excited to see how close they are to freedom, and now they will be able to meet their family. But as they arrive at the top, Monk with other Undertakers starts firing. The Scar Chain's powers aren't working and all of them are trying to save Ganta from the attacks. On the other side, Rokuro wakes up. He is amazed that Nagi was able to defeat Hibana while activating the elevator. But he tells Nagi that he is about to lose. After Rokuro takes Hibana to safety, using this chance, Nagi relays his message. The scene shifts to Ganta, who is trying to escape. He comes across Monk, but no matter how much he attacks, nothing affects him. But as Monk is about to attack, he is notified about something and leaves. Just then, Shiro comes. She takes away the chip from Ganta's hand and throws it inside a room. She covers the door and it explodes. Shiro ends up getting hurt, but she is glad to see Ganta is at least safe. Ganta and others are in disbelief to see this. In a surprised tone, they ask her why she did that. Shiro says a boy told her the chip was dangerous. Ganta, in a bit of a pissed tone, tells Shiro that chip was entrusted to him after the sacrifices by others. He knows this is a dangerous mission, that's why he told her to stay in the room. But Shiro says Ganta is weak, and she has to protect him. Ganta gets angry and punches her. He tells her to never again show her face to him. After this, they go to their hideout, where Karako joins them. Everyone is glad to see her. She is told about what happened and she says, "What has been done cannot be changed." They still have time and the inspectors are still here. But others ask how will they prove their innocence when they don't have the chip and they don't know what happened to Nagi. Karako encourages them to not give up, they will have to do it by themselves. As for Nagi, she knows he is alive. On the other side, Makina and her subordinate are trying to copy every piece of information from Tamaki's laptop. She comes across 2 files titled Prisoner Roster and Compatibility List. But just then, Tamaki enters the room with an inspector. The inspector knows about what Tamaki has been doing, and asks if they will be able to create new subjects by injecting them. Makina, hearing their conversation, starts to get an idea of what's actually happening in this prison. On the other side, everyone is wondering how the Undertakers knew in the first place they were about to come. Most likely this means somehow their plan was leaked. But for now, they have to recruit strong fighters. Out of all the Deadman, Hummingbird is an option, but many members do not like her personality. Kingfisher was an option, but he recently died. And the last one is Mockingbird. He is indeed very strong, but no one knows where he is. Ganta says he can fight, but Karako tells him it's fine, because they cannot afford more failures. They need someone with experience. Ganta blames Shiro for it. If she hadn't taken the chip from him, everyone's death would not have been wasted. However, Karako gets pissed and tells him to stop being pathetic. Ganta wonders why she is angry at him when it's all Shiro's fault. Just then, Rokuro enters the room. He is pissed and asks who knew the data chip was a bomb and messed up his plan. Everyone is surprised to hear it. They ask him what he means by it. Rokuro tells them there was never any evidence against this prison. It was just a time bomb. However, it was supposed to blow them up, and now seeing their reaction, he understands they had no clue about it. So he asks them how on earth they survived it. Ganta finally realizes why Shiro did that. Soon other Undertakers start to enter the room as well. Rokuro is not going to waste this chance and picks Ganta to be the first one who will be killed. With this, Rokuro calls 2 Undertakers, and both of them are Division 1 and 2 captains, strongest after Monk. Ganta is freaking out. As they are about to kill him, Senji comes to the rescue. He doesn't like how Ganta is enjoying by himself, and asks who is the strongest here. Everyone, while in shock, points at the dead bodies. Senji is disappointed. Using this chance, others break free and start fighting the Undertakers. Senji gains his composure and also attacks the Undertakers, but notices how his attacks aren't reaching them. Rokuro laughs and tells Senji he won't be able to do a thing. His attack only worked before, because of the surprise attack. But Senji doesn't think so. He uses his powers to unleash an insanely fast attack that is faster than the speed of sound. The attack cuts through the invisible guard and eliminates all the Undertakers. Everyone is wondering how amazing he is. After everyone is defeated, Rokuro is tied up. Karako requests Senji to help them in their mission, but he refuses. He doesn't care about breaking out. To him, there is no difference between here and outside. Those who are strong always stay at the top. Ganta is feeling miserable, that even though Shiro tried to protect him, he was so mean to her. He asks himself why he is so pathetic. He goes to Senji and requests him to teach him how to fight. He has to get stronger so Shiro doesn't worry about him. Senji likes Ganta's spirit and decides to train him. On the other side, Shiro is on her way to her grandpa's room to get some cookies. She is quite pissed at Ganta, but she only did that because a boy told her it was a bomb. She is so angry that she promises herself she will not share even a single cookie with him. Just then the same boy comes and asks Shiro why she is so sad. Shiro tells him she did what he told her to, but still, Ganta got angry. The boy comforts her and introduces himself as Toto. But Shiro isn't listening and just goes on an eating spree. Because of Ganta, her cheeks are swollen and still hurting. Toto tells her that weak humans are the most pathetic beings. Rather than becoming stronger, they put the blame on others. He asks Shiro why she cares about that weak boy. Shiro says she doesn't care about him. She hates him and decides to punch him. On the other side, Karako comes up with a plan. Instead of saving Nagi, they decide to figure out a safe route for themselves. They have to focus on dealing with the Undertakers. The scene shifts to Senji's room, where the training is still going. However, Ganta isn't able to attack faster than the speed of sound. With no other choice, Senji takes away all his candies and crushes them, keeping only one with him. He wants Ganta to penetrate his defense and shoot down this piece of candy if he really wants to become stronger. But if he can't make his attack faster, then he will die. Ganta fires the bullet, but it gets split apart by Senji's defense. He keeps on firing faster bullets, but it's keep getting destroyed by Senji. Just then, Toto enters the room. Senji is surprised to see him. Toto has come here to find Shiro, but on seeing Senji he is glad. As he approaches him, Senji raises his guard. But he easily gets behind him. Toto assures Senji that he is not here to fight. He licks his blood and it freaks out Senji. Ganta asks who he is, and it's revealed he is the strongest Deadman. Suddenly, he appears next to Ganta and asks if he can lick his blood too. But Senji tells him to leave them alone because they are training. So Toto shakes hands and leaves. On the other side, Tamaki asks for an update about the situation. Monk assures everything is going fine. In fact, he has made a new toy. Outside the room is Karako in disguise. She is here to save Nagi, but just then, Shiro comes. Monk also comes out and asks what's happening. Karako tries to defend Shiro by saying she probably lost her way, but then Monk kicks off her helmet because he recognizes her voice. The scene shifts to Senji's room, where he dismisses the training even though Ganta hasn't learned how to fire. Ganta wants to train more, but Senji refuses, or else he will not have enough blood to fight the Undertakers. Ganta doesn't want to give up and fires a last bullet. This one is very small because he lacks blood. However, this bullet manages to surpass the speed of sound. Ganta finally figures out, in order to fire insanely fast bullets he needs to make it way smaller than usual. Just then, throughout the facility, Monk shares about Shiro and Karako being tied up and will soon be killed. Everyone can't believe Karako lied to them, and went to save Nagi by herself. But they too know, in order to make sure her sacrifice doesn't go to waste, they have to find the exit. Ganta on the other side goes to save Shiro. But on his way, he is caught by the guards. Just then, Mina comes to his rescue. This is her way to repay for helping her in the penalty game. Ganta also tells her to break free from this prison, but Mina doesn't care. She has an older brother full of injuries to worry about, and unlike Ganta, she is not here on false charges. Ganta thanks her for the help and leaves. Soon after, he arrives at the room. Shiro is very happy to see him, but pretends she doesn't care at all. Ganta uses his blood to create smaller and sharper bullets. With it, in an instant, he takes down multiple Undertakers. But because he had already used too much blood, he isn't able to stand properly. Shiro breaks free, and as she approaches Ganta, Hibana breaks her leg. And soon, Ganta also collapses. Monk can't believe only Ganta came. He was hoping for more, but it seems like they care more about freedom than allies. He calls up Nagi to finish them off. Karako is in shock to see him. She tries to bring him back by telling him about his child waiting outside. But Nagi now knows his child died during an experiment. All this time, Tamaki lied to him. So now, there is no reason for him to break this jail. His mind starts to hurt, and he unleashes his powers. As the smoke clears out, Monk orders Nagi to eliminate everyone. Nagi uses his powers and takes down whoever comes in his way. Ganta is terrified to see how terrifying Nagi has become. Hibana is freaking out because Nagi is eliminating her subordinates too, but on the other side, Monk is amused to witness his strength. Nagi approaches Shiro, and as he is about to attack her, Ganta comes in the way and takes the hit. Shiro tells him to get away, but Ganta doesn't and keeps taking the hits. Ganta tries to bring Nagi back to his senses. But the reality of knowing his child is not alive, Nagi is not looking forward to anything. Ganta asks how he can say this. It's true he doesn't know how it feels to lose a kid. But the sadness of losing your loved ones, knowing you will not be able to create memories with them, this much he understands. It doesn't matter how weak he is and how terrible this place is. He has Shiro whom he will protect no matter what. Hearing this, Nagi starts to remember the friends he made in this prison, who have their own families waiting outside. But suddenly, Ganta collapses. It's not because of blood loss, but because he didn't eat the candy and his death is near. Karako gives one last push and tries to bring Nagi back to his senses. She hugs him and says it's still not too late. But then, she is stabbed in the chest by Monk. Ganta is furious. He uses his supersonic bullet to attack Monk, and it pushes him away. Shiro warns Ganta he'll die if he keeps on using his blood, but he still attacks. However, this time his attack is perfectly blocked by Monk. Karako uses her powers to seal the wound. Monk orders Nagi to finish her off, but fortunately, Nagi is completely back to his senses and remembers his mission to get freedom for his friends. Monk has enough, and shoots Nagi. He goes insane and starts shooting his allies as well. Terrified, Hibana escapes. She told Monk to not inject too much serum Tamaki gave them, but now it's too late. On the way, she comes across Toto, who uses Senji's power to eliminate her. Back in the room, as Monk is about to attack Ganta, Shiro heals her legs and stands up. But Ganta comes in front of her and says he is going to protect her. Putting everything he has in one shot, he unleashes an insanely powerful attack. The power is so much that Monk isn't able to dodge it, and vaporize on the spot. Afterwards, Nagi gives Ganta his candy because he doesn't need it. He wishes Karako and Ganta the best for their future and dies. Throughout the facility, huge damage has been dealt. Only a couple of Scar Chain members have survived. After an hour, when Shiro wakes up, on seeing Ganta here, she asks him why he didn't leave the prison when he still had the chance. Ganta says he couldn't abandon her. He apologizes for hitting her, for being mean to her. Shiro hugs Ganta and forgives him. The following day, at the top of the building, Shiro is singing a very soothing song. Ganta recognizes this song and asks where she learned from it. Shiro says it's because his mother used to sing it. But Ganta requests her to not sing it anymore. Because on that day, the Red Man was singing this song as well. But he wonders why in the first place he knew this song. If you enjoyed the recap, please consider liking and subscribing this channel. Have a wonderful day ahead.